Hello everybody! It's officially August 1st, and I don't know about you, but I barely even remember January. I know that I started this channel in January. I started off with a video about how to set your intentions with ChatGPT, and that was my first video ever. And boy, have I learned a lot in this whole content creation process. And I wanted to take today to do a little mid-year check-in with you guys. We can do this together. I wanted to share with you 4 steps that I would do in order to do this mid-year check-in. Because guys, we are a little bit more than halfway through 2025 and this year is moving by fast. I don't know where summer went, it just came and went. We didn't even have a summer song, it was just a whole thing. But I wanted to take some time to do a check-in and let's figure out what we can do moving forward for the rest of the year. And little things we can do to add into our days to make sure that we end this year strong, we end this year accomplishing the things that we wanted to accomplish and not let it be another year that goes by that we had good intentions but didn't get to. So grab a coffee, grab a matcha, grab your journals, and let's go through these 4 steps that we can figure out what has worked, what hasn't worked, and what we can do moving forward. Okay? All right. So step 1 is review and reflect. Let's take some time, review the last 7 months, what has worked and what hasn't worked. And I will show you guys a bit of my journal and how I've used it in the last year to put down some of my thoughts, my goals, my dreams, and how I'm planning on using this also moving forward. So the whole point of this is to be honest with yourself, okay? There's no need to perform, no one here is telling you what's right or what's wrong, this is your life, this is how you wanna live your life, and just be honest with yourself. What were your intentions in January? For some of us, it was going to the gym every day. A lot of gym memberships maybe faded in the background in February. It happens, life happens. It's not a time to berate yourself or make yourself feel bad for not doing the things that you wanted to do. A lot of us, I think, get into like a defeatist mindset where we think, okay, well, it's already August and I didn't get to ABC task or ABC goal, so I'm just gonna give it up and just not deal with it until Monday, not deal with it until next month, not deal with it until 2026. So the whole point is that we can change any single day. Remember that, okay? You can wake up tomorrow and decide that you want to start training for a marathon. That is entirely up to you. You are the creator of your own destiny, your own life. So make a commitment to do that if you wanted to. But this is step 1. Step 1 is review and reflect. So let's just go back and see what our intentions were, whether or not some of those have changed, which is also totally okay. So for me, let's dig a bit into my journal, shall we? In January, I decided that I wanted to do content creation in 2025. I wanted to make it a point to practice my vulnerability and practice my discipline. These are 2 things that I felt like I was missing in 2024, and that's why I was feeling unfulfilled in so many ways. But I wanted to use journaling as a way to visually be able to practice discipline and use it every single day. So I bought this Hobonichi journal, and I've talked a little bit about it in past videos, but using it every single day as a way to record has been the most fun, creative process. And it's so cool to flip back on this year, and the fact that I've been able to do this every single day truly tells me that everything is just practice and consistency. So I started out, I remember in February, I wrote this, that I am building a community online that is supportive and allows people to feel seen and safe. And pretty cool that now we're in July, I feel like I am doing that. And I also wrote, I am getting paid for making content and my art. And that has happened, which is very, very cool, celebrating the small wins. And the next one I wrote, I am working with brands. I work with brands and am an ambassador of health inclusive brands that I care about, like Headspace and BetterHelp. See, I haven't done that yet, but I still have 5 months left in order to get to it. So my goal for August could be to reach out to these brands that I want to work with now, because I've gained a little bit of confidence in being able to present myself to brands and hopefully get myself into a place where I am not afraid of doing that and not afraid of being seen in that way. So that is something I can reflect on and be excited about for the next part of the year. And so you get the idea. It is basically just a way to look back on the things that you're thinking about in those moments, because sometimes we forget, right? Sometimes we go through life every single day and we just go through the mundane things every single day and we forget the why of why we're doing things and our initial goals and our initial intentions. Step 2 is audit the present. Auditing the present means asking the hard questions that you have to be honest with yourself, really share how you're feeling currently in this moment, and thinking about what has worked, why has it worked, what hasn't worked, why hasn't it worked, and what do you want to focus on more of, and what can you let go of. So for me in January, I had an intention of understanding my finances, and I really wanted to be able to be financially literate and not be afraid of looking at my money and allowing myself to start investing more, saving more, and really thinking about how to build wealth for the future. And this has been something that I've put on the back burner for a very long time because I just never wanted to deal with it. Money is a mindset thing, and I, for some reason, have been fearful of it in some ways. So I set out a goal in January to be able to learn more about it. Unfortunately, I let my fear kind of dictate more of that for the last 6 months, and I didn't really do anything about it. I just kind of wrote an intention down. For example, I'll show you in my Notion. I had written it down that I wanted to do this. It was my number one thing that I wanted to do, but I didn't get to it. I instead focused on content creation. I focused on practicing vulnerability. I focused on physical discipline and running my first half marathon. So all these things are really great, and I can look back and reflect on that. However, in auditing the present, I also know that I don't feel great about not focusing on my finances and really taking time to action upon that and not just have the intention, because just having the intention doesn't mean that it's going to happen. You can't just sit there and manifest $1 million and expect it's going to come. You have to put in actionable steps. And I'm actually grateful that this happened this way, because if I hadn't set out to do content creation and practice discipline and know that things happen in small ways every single day, that your actions compound over time, if I hadn't seen that and visually been able to experience that through content creation, I don't think I would be as ready or open-minded to the fact that I could learn how to be a numbers person. I could learn more about money, and I could learn about my finances, because I've always said in the back of my head, oh, I'm just an art person, I'm a creative, I'm an artist, I don't deal with money, I don't like that. I still don't like it, but that doesn't mean I can't learn. So basically what I'm saying is, for me, auditing the present means asking the hard questions. Why didn't I do the things that I wanted to do? And for me, it was fear. I was afraid of it for some reason. And so I made a commitment in the beginning of July to actually deal with it, right? And it's not just about saying that I want to deal with it and then not doing anything about it. It is putting in concrete steps every single day that I can build this into a habit that eventually I will be able to look back on and think, wow, I've made some progress in that area. So for example, with the finances, I decided to make a financial tracker. And that's just not something I thought about doing in the past. I would just spend money and not be super aware of where it was going every single month. And the thing is, I was very ashamed of the fact that I didn't understand it myself. I wasn't putting in enough time into this, and I was putting in time to other things in life. When I officially decided to make a financial tracker, was nervous and I was scared, but by taking that one little step of putting it into practice on my Notion, I was able to break it down into smaller, less scary steps to demystify this whole idea for myself. And just by doing this, it's given me so much more confidence that I am learning over time, and that these things are just about creating small systems that build confidence and then compound over time. Step 3, reset and realign. So after taking in your auditing process and thinking about what has worked, what hasn't worked, and what you want to bring more of into the future, now think about whether or not some of those intentions have changed, right? It's fine that those have changed. Even if you thought that you wanted to accomplish something in January, life shifts, life happens, you change, you grow. And sometimes those things don't necessarily align with where we want to be in the future anymore. So for me, for example, I had set an intention to do Substack and kind of dabble in all these different kind of platforms just to try them all out. And now that I feel like my creative expression is heading more towards Substack a little bit more and writing a little bit more about learning about finances, which is never something that I thought I would do. I never thought that I would be someone who would write about finances online ever. I thought I would be writing about mental health for sure, but maybe not finances. But now it's an area that I really want to focus on. It's an area where I want to learn more. I want to dedicate more of my time into. So I can realign some of my intentions and change some of them to make it fit more of where I want to see myself by December. So for you, maybe your little mini reset plan could be this. Could be looking for one focus area that you want to get into, whether that be in your romantic life, in your physical health, eating healthier, into your career, into maybe starting a new side hustle. Whatever that is, set a new intention for it. And now the next step is to write down small actions you can take every single day and commit to that. It's more about committing to it and actually doing it. It's not just about saying that I want to start a new business. Sure, that's a great intention, but what concrete steps are we taking in order to get there? Also, I think one super important thing to add here is to add one thing here in this reset and realign thing that you want to celebrate that you've done already in the last 7 months. Because so often we're looking forward into the future and what we want to accomplish, but it's also really important to celebrate the small wins. And that's where we get into step 4, celebrating the small wins. Celebrate the small wins that you have every single week. I think that's so important. I do this on my Instagram and I always ask you guys every Friday, what are you celebrating this week? And it's so important to even look at the small things that you're doing that are helping you grow into the person that you want to become. It's not always about those big milestone wins. Sure, those are great to celebrate too, but sometimes we have really rough times and rough weeks. And if all we can do that week is to celebrate the fact that we got out of bed, put on a clean shirt and washed our hair, sometimes that's all that we can do. Not everything in life is about optimizing to the full extent all the time. Sometimes those small wins are also equally important as well. I know that is step 4, but it is a very, very important step to take in order to be assured and reassured in ourselves and that we know that we are doing everything that we can to be the best version of ourselves, you know? Just to take a little time to reflect on all of that now, I just want to say how excited I am and happy I am that I've found this little community on the internet. I'm so grateful that you're here if you're here. And you know, I never thought I would be someone who would be able to do this consistently over time because I used to be someone who gives up a lot of my lofty goals and dreams. I would start something, have a lot of intention into going into it for the first 2 months, and then it just kind of falls off. And the fact that I'm still here doing this, making these videos and wanting to share more of my life and with you guys is because of you guys. You guys really have been encouraging me and motivating me and pushing me to realize that sometimes these little things really matter, just showing up and having that purpose every single day. And I just really am grateful for this little community that we have. And I wanted to celebrate some small wins. Maybe I don't want to even say they're small wins. They feel like big wins to me because I never thought that would happen. But I do want to say I did put them into my monthly manifestations every single month for the last 7 months. So call that what you will, but I do think when you focus on something and you have intentions towards that goal, they will happen. Not in the ways that you think they always do, but they do. So for example, something that I'm celebrating is that I have paid subscribers on Substack that I never even thought I would get until next year, which is crazy to me, truly wild to me. Something else I had written in my journal was that I wanted to get 10,000 followers on Instagram. And we are far beyond that now, which is really, really cool. And all these little things where I had just put it out into the universe and I didn't know how it was gonna happen. I was hopeful it would happen because I was dedicated to it and I focused on it and I wanted it to happen. But sometimes we never know how these things will happen sometimes. Something else I had written in January for my manifestations for content was that I wanted to get a brand deal. I wanted to get proper brand deals and I wanted that brand to be super aligned with what I was doing because I didn't want to take random brand deals here and there just for the sake of getting them. And the fact that I am now getting some offers from companies and brands that I really, really have admired for a long time is very, very cool. So many of the things I am receiving at this point are things that I could only dream about. I had no idea how I was gonna get it, but I wanted it to happen. And the cool thing is, because I wrote it down in my journal, I can look back and really know exactly when I had written it down and also why. And call me crazy, but I think writing things down has a way of really solidifying it as something that you want to focus on and that perhaps the universe wants to read as well. So those are little things that I'm celebrating, and just these little moments of growth that I wouldn't have even thought would come. And now they're here, and I can't wait to see where more of this unfolds into. So let me know if this video helped you at all. And also comment something that you're celebrating this week. What have you been working on? And what are you excited about that's happened already? And what are you excited about for the future? Because we still have 5 months left of 2025, and we have plenty of time to shift our mindsets and make sure that we're proud of ourselves and we're doing things that our younger selves will be proud of and our older selves will be proud of. There's so much in life that we can look forward to. So I hope this video helps you feel a little bit more grounded, or at least a moment for you to sit down, reflect, and reset some of your intentions so that we can have an amazing 2025. And also feel free to revisit this video, this reset, anytime you want. It doesn't have to be the first of the month at all, ever. It just so happens that we are in August 1st and I thought about it, but you can revisit it anytime you want. Life is not on anyone else's timeline but your own. So you can choose whether or not you want to change some things in your life whenever you want, and it is all up to you. Okay, I think that is the video for today, and I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you next week. Bye!